Welcome to Soul via Soul, the podcast where we embark on a journey of self-love and true wellness. I'm your host, Jada, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you here with me as we dive into all things mind, body, and soul. Now, what do you say we get this thing started? Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Soul via Soul. Now, this particular episode is going to be coming right before Christmas, and I wanted to really talk about what I feel are often overlooked, and honestly, it's the simplest gifts that we can give to one another and give to ourselves. And I've talked before about how the holidays can be a mixed bag for people. If we have people that are not there at those gatherings, it can be a reminder of who's not with us. And the holidays are especially like that for me. I find them to be challenging because both of my parents are gone. And it's kind of hard being at the top of the totem pole. I don't feel like I deserve to be there or should be there, or I don't even want to be there. I would rather turn to someone who's older to say, hey, I've got this question. Hey, I have this problem. Or what's that recipe again for that wonderful blueberry pie that you used to make, or that pound cake recipe? What's your secret ingredient? Like, there are some certain things that I just miss with my parents not being here. And yet it's a joyous time too, because the holidays often bring us together. We have all these wonderful traditions that we sometimes share with friends and family that make us feel very loved and whole. But there's also holes within those moments, times where we feel not complete, times where we feel some deep sadness, sometimes where we feel this longing of wanting to be with extended family that's no longer there. And honestly, it's also, we talk about Christmas as being a season of gifts and giving to others and sharing and buying gifts, and get sometimes can leave a bad taste in people's mouth because you're giving things. And sometimes it's really not things that we desire. It's people, it's memories, it's experiences. But I think one thing that we all can agree upon is the season also can be really a time of year where we focus on love and spreading love. And sometimes giving gifts is a way that we give love. But what about you in the mix of all this? And honestly, since my parents have passed away, I actually give myself a gift from them every year, even though they're not here. And maybe that sounds weird or to some people, but I like to give myself something from them. And it's a small thing, but it helps me stay close to them and remember them in the season. But this holiday season, as we celebrate newness, especially if there's new births or new kids or young kids, that sparkle, that Christmas morning is something that is just so awesome. And it can be so joyous. And especially if you're celebrating first Christmases, that can be especially a beautiful, memorable time in life. And during the holidays, we do focus on giving to others. We do focus on what it is to give gifts. But what the holiday season is actually about, the giving to others, it's also about how we give to ourselves, and to not exclude ourselves in the laundry list of people that we need to give to. So I want you to think about how you're giving to yourself this holiday season. You are worthy of receiving the gifts of self-love, confidence, self-validation, and mental wellness. You are worthy of gifting yourself a break, a pouring into yourself for a change. Being who you are is a gift. Taking care of yourself and loving yourself is a gift. Both the gifts that we choose to give and we often choose not to open, we leave them unopened, collecting dust on the shelf. And I want to challenge you to open those gifts this year for yourself. Those gifts of loving you, those gifts of time, those gifts of creating sacred spaces for yourself. Even just the gift of 20 minutes a day to sit in silence and think about the things that you're grateful for. I challenge you to do the work, to push out negative comments that you tell yourself, to rewire your brain, to see how incredible you are just by being who you are, and writing down things that you're thankful for. It sounds simple, but the challenge can be so awesome and can be so illuminating on what truly matters to you. Ask for a day off. Ask for support in making a meal. Ask for help with your kids. Ask for help and give yourself the gift of taking a break and refilling your own cup. And although I'm excited about the holidays, it's also an emotional time for me as I think about those who are not here. I've also been emotionally burnt out from things happening in my life. This has been a really big year for me. And I'm giving myself the gift of taking a well-deserved and much-needed break as well. And it's important that we do that for ourselves, that we step away and give ourselves the gift of time, to give ourselves the gift of loving ourselves. We're constantly pressured to give to other people, and often we don't include ourselves in that list. So I hope you make the decision to give to yourself as well this year, and do not feel selfish in doing so. Giving yourself the gifts that you need to feel like yourself, to make yourself feel whole or renewed, which will ultimately end up being gifts to other people, because you're going to show up as a healthy, well-rested, nourished version of you. Because giving to yourself allows you to be your best for other people as well. So this holiday season, and in all the days moving forward into the new year, know that you are worthy of receiving gifts from others and from yourself. Know that you can give yourself the gift of what you need this year. And know that when you pour into yourself, your world can start to look brighter and begin to feel whole on this journey. You are a gift, and you are worthy of receiving gifts. So put yourself at the top of the list this year. You are worthy of loving you. Now, I do know and understand, especially as a busy mom, how difficult it is to carve time for ourselves. I know it is not easy. It's also what I am challenging you all to do, because when we decide that our health and wellness is equal to all those around us whom we serve and give the gift of our time and our resources and our energy to, when we decide that we are at least on par, that would be the first challenge. Consider yourself even in the mix. But then to actually create time and space to love you every day. And there are lots of ways you can do that. And I'm asking for 20 or 30 minutes of an actionable change that you're going to put into your life as a gift to yourself. Giving yourself permission to love you is such an important switch. And I remember as a new mom, that was not something I felt I could do. I really struggled with that. So giving yourself this gift of time, an investment in you, is how I would like for you to see this as your gift to yourself this holiday season, this Christmas, or this season, whatever your particular holiday that you celebrate. This season, the season of darkness, the season of a new year beginning and a other year ending, is to create love for you, giving yourself time and energy to love you. So the challenge at the end of this podcast, and I think I'm going to start doing this like regularly, I'm going to start answering a question from listeners that want a specific answer. So if you have a specific question, drop something in the comments. But I also want to leave every podcast with an actionable nugget, a piece, a pearl, something that you can take away from this podcast and actually implement in your life to make it better. This is a podcast about all things wellness. And today it's about loving you and receiving gifts from yourself to yourself. So the challenge is to create time for yourself every day. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge investment of time, but carve out time for yourself every single day to just be. Journal if you want. Just sit and sip a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, but give yourself the gift of time and let your mind play about dreaming for the life that you want to create. Those moments of inspiration are going to come in the stillness. So give yourself the gift every day of time where you get to sit quietly and dream of the life that you want and that you so desire. And in that vein, if you struggle to do that, if loving you is something that's challenging, if not even knowing how to start that is confusing to you, reach out because I have programs. Unbecoming is the program that helps you get underneath all of that potential trauma that is holding you back in life and those limiting beliefs that may be preventing you from knowing your worth all the way down to your bones. I have masterclasses and other courses that speak to creating wellness in your life. Wellness from the ground up, understanding that wellness comes from first loving you. So we have to build the foundation of worth and knowing that you're worthy of the investment of giving the gift of time and love to yourself. So we're going to end 2023 with a renewed commitment of how we're going to love ourselves and give ourselves the gift of time.